Okay, you're going to need your calculators for this as well, so quickly get your calculators out. Now guys, when we are doing trig equations, just like when we're doing a normal equation, we want to get x on its own, right? Or whatever that variable is. So for a trig equation, we always want to get the trig ratio, whether it's sine or cos or tan, and the angle on the left-hand side, and everything else on the right-hand side. Okay, so sometimes the angle is more complicated. It's not always just an x. Sometimes it's like an x plus 10, or 2x minus 5, or 2x, all right? We just want to get the trig ratio and the angle on its own. So that means that I need to get rid of this 3. I need to move that 3 over to the other side. So I'm going to say that sine x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Right, so now guys, I don't know if you remember this, but now that we have our trig ratio and the angle equal to a number, we're going to have to find our reference angle. Does that sound familiar? And what we're going to do with this minus is we are going to just do a little, I normally just do a small little Cartesian plane on the side. Where is sine negative? In quadrants 3 and 4. So I'm going to have to write a quadrant 3 solution and a quadrant 4 solution. Okay, now before I can do that, we need to find our reference angle. So RA, some teachers also write ref and then have the angle symbol. It's fine, either way is okay. You're going to do shift sign, so sine to the negative 1. But remember, for your reference angle, guys, you just do the positive value. Not negative 2 over 3, positive 2 over 3. The minus we bring into play by looking at the negative quadrants. Okay, so that's the only place where we actually look at that minus. So on our calculators, we're going to type shift, and then we're going to press the sign button so that it looks like that. And then we're going to type in 2 over 3. We're going to close our bracket, and we are going to get our reference angle, which is 41,81 degrees. All right, so 41,81 degrees there for the reference angle. Okay, now guys, we're going to use that reference angle in a quadrant 3 solution and a quadrant 4 solution. So I usually literally write Q3, but other teachers might not have done that. It's fine, you don't have to. I just find it's nice to write down exactly what we're doing. So you're going to take this angle, whatever that angle is. Like I said, sometimes it's more complicated. Sometimes it's a bracket, it can be a 2x, whatever. Whatever that angle is, you're going to say that angle is equal to... Now, what do we do in the third quadrant, guys? How do we get an angle in the third quadrant? We always say 180 plus the reference angle. So 180 plus 41,81. And then we need to say plus 360n. Some teachers say n times 360. That's also fine. Why am I saying plus 360n? Where does that come from? If we think of the sine graph, right? A sine graph doesn't stop at 360. It carries on going. All right? And what is the period of a sine graph? 360 degrees. Okay. So this is because period of sine is 360 degrees. We meant to also say, do we remember what n has to be? N has to be an element of integers. Z. You guys remember that? Does that look familiar? Because when we are getting specific solutions, remember we sub in n values into this equation. We make n equal to 0, 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2. Okay, we'll do that later. We're not doing specific solutions now. But n must always be an element of integers. And guys, you only write this once. Okay, write this only once. Even in a test or exam, if they've given you 3 trig equations, I mean, they never will, but you might get more, you might get 2. Okay, if you've written n element of z once in your paper, you don't have to write it again. Okay, it's just like the special triangles. If you've drawn them once, you don't have to draw them again. You can keep using them. Okay, is this the final answer though here, guys? I need to still simplify that. Okay, so we're going to get that x is equal to, if you say 180 plus 41,81, you're going to get 221,81. And then you need to keep writing that plus 360 in, please. Sure. Okay, quadrant 4. What do I do to get an angle, in the fourth quadrant? I'm going to say 360 minus the reference angle. Okay, so again, the angle that was attached to my sign was just x. So I'm just writing x. And that is equal to 360 degrees minus the reference angle. Again, plus 360 in. Guys, that is one thing that you do have to write every single time. Okay, the plus 360 in, you have to keep writing. 318,19 plus 360n. Guys, if you leave off that 360n even once, they're going to minus a mark. Okay, so please. So I'm actually going to highlight it to remind us that we have to write it every single time. Only when you are doing specific solutions, right? So when you're actually subbing in values for n and you write down specific x values, then do you stop writing that. Okay, but that's not even going to happen in this example. Okay, what I do just want to add to this example, just on the side, so maybe we can do it here. If you have space above or next to or somewhere by your quadrant 3, for quadrant 3, you are always going to do 180 plus your reference angle. And for quadrant 4, you are always going to do 360 minus your reference angle.